Welcome, it's me again. This is the opening pre-assessment activity for mentors to complete as they were signing in and waiting for everyone to sign on. If you are viewing this meeting through the video makeup opportunity, please go to the Google survey and answer this question. If you want to read through the slide deck, the link is there as well as in the May Mentor Meeting tab in the Google Classroom. This is the monthly mentor meeting for May 2021. As you know, ongoing mentor training and support is part of the induction standards on which our program was approved. So thank you for supporting the program and your mentor responsibilities by either attending the live meetings or viewing the recorded sessions and completing the surveys that are included. This is the last monthly mentor meeting for this school year, and if you are viewing this now, it is probably after the school year has ended. But there is information here that is good for you to know, as well as the opportunity for you to provide feedback for the program that is in addition to the end of the inquiry cycle survey. Let's see, here is the agenda for this meeting. First, the group map Starfish retrospective, then some information for you about why we need program feedback. We're always trying to help you understand more about the program and why we do some of the things we do. And then closing up will help us wrap up the time together and giving you some dates for the beginning of the school year next August. We are covering two professional standards today, Induction Standard 5 and Common Standard 4. Induction Standard 5 is about determining candidate competence for the CLEAR credential. So I know this is a lot of text, but please take a minute to read this standard and think about how our ILP and Google Classroom combined are able to provide documentation of candidate progress through the co-self assessments, the tools used and stored in Google Classroom, the SMART goals, inquiry questions, and reflections. Common Standard 4 also talks about expectations of what the program should be providing, and that we also need to be collecting data from all key stakeholders and reflecting on the data gathered and using that information to improve our program and services, which is why we do so much data collection, and then we synthesize it, put it together, and then try to make program improvements over the summer, looking at trends and then comparing that to trends in suggestions and reflections and data, and then comparing it to what the induction program standards are and how can we better our program for better customer service and better utilization. That being said, as you can see from the survey taken at the beginning of the elementary meeting, there were some ideas that included more resources for special ed teachers, more mentor-to-mentor sharing and collaboration, teacher observations, both mentor observing teachers and new teachers observing other teachers, which is not priceless. It's you can't measure that. It's great stuff. There is also a perceived need for more specific assignments, but that one is difficult with trying to keep the program as individualized as possible, but maybe more guidelines for those who want it or need it. However, I do think that there's some good ideas here for how to structure our meetings to include going over what currently should be turned in and how to pace your times with your teachers. And the suggestions to update and add to the tool selection are certainly important and needed as well. These are the suggestions from the secondary meeting. Many people wanted a colloquium at the end of the year, which is really a holdover from BITSA, but although I have never done one, when talking to other program directors, I do see the value in some sort of closure activity, such as a colloquium. I do worry that people have so much to do at the end of the year. I would hate to put more on the mentors and teachers, but maybe do that instead of a May mentor meeting and offer it as a Saturday luncheon. That might make it more accessible to people, or more relaxing and more enjoyable. Front-loading websites and tools prior to the meetings is also a wonderful idea, and that would mean, though, that I couldn't leave things to the last minute like I have a tendency to do. But having the mentor meetings and candidate meetings being optional is not negotiable, unfortunately. However, we do offer many different opportunities for attendance, and if it really is not your gig, then maybe we need to have a conversation and rethink your mentoring position. For candidates, it really isn't an option, and compared to what it was required in BITSA, as some of you might remember, it really has been streamlined. But there are a lot of great ideas here and feedback, so I will look forward to seeing what you have added to your Starfish retrospective. As we have been explaining, all programs are required to revisit their program structure and design as ongoing reflections and to get input from all the stakeholder groups. We collect data and input in many ways, but mostly through the surveys and evaluations that we do after meetings and at the end of each inquiry. The Flipgrid assignment for teachers and the Go React for mentors provides more personal qualitative data, as well as this brainstorming activity input in many ways, but mostly through the surveys and evaluations that we do at the end of each meeting. As part of the data collection and reflection process, here are our program goals. 1, we want to keep the program grounded in new teachers, in new teachers' needs, and let's see. We want to keep the program grounded in new teachers' needs, and be transparent about how well the program is functioning and identify areas for program improvement. Those are the reasons that we do a lot of the evaluations that we do. And then if you look at this is a continuum. Does it look familiar? This is from the New Teacher Center's Continuum of Program Standards. So please take a minute to read and mentally think about where we are and where we want to be going. The categories are establishing, applying, integrating, and innovating. And you're familiar with the process, but think about what you know about our program and where would you put us and where would you like to see us going, and what are some of the things you think we might be able to do to get forward, to move forward. And those are the things and the reasons we look at the data that we're collecting. Okay, so we don't have an end of the year celebration, but I want to give a shout out to all of you who have worked so hard with the new teachers and also with keeping yourself sane in spite of having to pivot so many times this school year. Look at some of the things that we've done. We have 105 candidates. We have 37 year one, and 12 of those year ones are doing early completion option, so they won't be with us next year. But we'll have the leftovers that are left over from the year one group moving forward to year two next year. We had 69 year two people, so altogether we'll have 81 completers. So that's pretty cool. We have 60 mentors. And if you take those teachers, and some of them are elementary and some of them are middle school and secondary, but multiply those teachers by the number of students they have, and you will be able to see the impact that our program has on this district. And those are big numbers. So that's really super cool, I think, anyway. Just look what you've done and give yourself a pat on the back. And next year, I am looking forward to being able to celebrate in person, at the end of the year. So thinking about what's next, in the meetings, we did a little reminder about the end of the year post-co assessments. And although that's over and done with now, so I didn't include that here. But this was kind of new, that if you wanted to get mentor units, I know most of you probably already have master's degrees. I think a couple of you even have doctorate degrees, but if you need any mentor units or know somebody who does, or if your candidate needs units, we have Brandman University and Whittier College that both of our units. Brandman online, you can get 4 units for $200 or Whittier 6 units for $450. And it would just depend on how many units you need and kind of what your budget is. Cheryl Lane is one of our mentors, and she is working over the summer through Dominican University to offer classes that can also be used for EDU units for but for salary advancement. So your mentee might be interested in some of that as well, even if you are not. So I wanted to share those opportunities with you, and thinking about what's next and what's coming up. Next year's numbers, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be doing, but we'll have our leftovers, and I think we're going to be getting some new people from the charter school that will be working with us again also next year, and maybe reaching out to some other areas. But the intern, this is kind of a new thing, is that the interns that we have, they are going to be rolling over to having a preliminary credential. So even though they may have been in the district for a while, they might have been in the district as interns, and they're just completing their intern, their preliminary program and pre-service program, and then they'll get their preliminary credential. If you want to keep your candidate, the survey wants to know if you want to continue or if you want a new candidates next year. Some people, for whatever reason, may want a different candidate, or they might not be wanting to mentor next year. So I've had a few people already who have said, I love what I'm doing. I love my mentees. I've loved mentoring. I love the program, but I'm tired. This year just did me in. So some people are kind of like wanting to take a break, or they're wanting to move on to something else. So just let me know, and we'll work with you to, either put you on hold for a year, check in with you the following year, or just say, you know what, I'm done. Thank you for the opportunity, but I'm done. Okay, so those are things that we can do. And some people have moved on to other assignments. So their teachers that they're mentoring might be free to be mentored by other people too. So there might be some switching around a little bit. But our back to school meetings, they seem so early to me, but they're at the end of July. So you've got the whole month of June and most of July to recharge your batteries. But we have a meeting on 7/28/29, and that's before the new teachers have to come back. So the new teachers have to come back before you come back, but I wanted to meet with you before then. And then for those people who aren't able to attend those meetings, we will also have a meeting on August 25th. So not sure yet of the times for those. But one of the things too is that we will be doing, let's see if I can, they're to be announced depending on school schedules. Oh, the meetings for mentor meetings and everything will be, announced once we get all the bell schedules and everything washed out and see how things go. The meetings on the 20, my thing is over here, and that's why I keep pointing to it. The 28th and the 29th meetings, one will probably be in person. Excuse me. One will probably be virtual, and the one on the 25th will be virtual for sure. So we'll be doing that. If we have any new mentors, we'll have to figure out some new mentor training, also dates and times for that. You guys are doing ongoing, but this is probably going to be a little bit longer meeting because it's a little bit of program updates, any changes that are going on, and a little bit of mentoring and reminding, so it might be longer than an hour. So I just want to, give you a heads up on that. Okay. The meetings, the monthly mentor meetings, as I said, it's not negotiable. We kind of need to be doing that, but there will be many, in-person and virtual opportunities. So just so that at least I get to see you once in person over the course of the year, that's going to have to be built into the program. Okay. Just so you know. And the three choices will be, how we've done elementary or secondary or virtual. So we'll kind of keep that going, but people are always invited to anything if you want. We will probably be doing registrations though. So I'll ask you to register maybe at the end of one meeting, which one do you think you want to come to next month? So that numbers wise, and so that I can kind of keep track of what's going on. Okay, and make sure you hit those. And the other thing is that you are going to have to attend at least one in-person meeting, so I need to be able to track that. Okay, so just so you know, I wanted to give you a heads up on that also. All right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can make a note of that on your Google survey. Okay, I appreciate you watching. Please submit your survey and let me know that you completed this activity, by doing that to get credit for attending virtually. And that means I'll know you've had it. And I want to leave you just with this thought. So dear teachers and mentors, please don't ever feel guilty for resting during the summer. Teaching is exhausting, and you've poured your heart and soul into your job for months, especially this year, and you've yearned your break seriously. So don't be guilted into, oh, I should be working, and don't listen to people who say, oh, teachers only work, 9 months a school year, 9 months a year. You guys work 10 months a year, and the hours that you put in during those 10 months more than make up for the time you've got off in the summertime, and especially this year. So please, please, please make an effort to get some rest, connect with family, nature, loved ones, um, read some good books, do some exciting things, and you'll be hearing from me. It's not like, you won't be hearing from me. Check your Chino email once in a while, please. And have a great summer. And thank you for all you've done this year. I still feel very, very blessed to be part of the Chino family. And I truly appreciate all the work that you do with our new teachers and all the support you give me. So thank you very, very much. Okay, have a great summer.